Hey, this is Jamie, the author of Epic Christianity, and in this video I'm going to be talking about how to come back to God. Hey, I'm so glad that you're watching this video. This video is really just coming from the heart. Most of the videos I kind of have a little bit of outline or a couple things that I want to cover, but it's probably 2 o'clock in the morning here at my house, and it's quiet. My kids are all sleeping, and I just really wanted to talk about how to come back to God, because there are so many of us, that are Christians that at one point, gave our heart and life to God, and we know that, God lives within us and that we're Christians, but there are so many that have kind of just wandered. Life has a way of just pulling us from God, and the world has always got a constant current that's pulling us away from God. And oftentimes we start to struggle and do things, that we're not proud of, and even make mistakes that are lasting. And we often feel like, I can't go back to God. We feel like, we have to get it all together before we can go back to God, but that's just not going to happen. So I want to encourage you that wherever you are, know that God is ready and waiting for you. You can read in the book of Luke about the prodigal son who returned, after he had gone away, took his father's inheritance or took his inheritance from his father and squandered it all away and just bad living, and then realized, well, if maybe I can go back and be a servant in my father's house. And when he started to come back, he expected his father to be upset with him, and he just, he hoped that his father would give him a place as a servant. At least he could have somewhere to live. But his father ran to him and put a robe on him and accepted him as he was right there, because he was his son and he longed for him. And that's how, that was not a true story. It was a parable of how God, receives us. And that was a son who was already a son. He receives us with open arms no matter what we've done. The fact is, we'll have to pay, for some of the things that we've done. Sin and mistakes and all this, they have consequences. Life has consequences, for bad choices. But don't let those bad choices and those things that you've done and the consequences you're facing and your inability to feel like you measure up keep you from coming back to God. I just want to encourage you to say, God, I'm sorry, I want to come back to you. Please help me. That's it. That's it. Just run back to him where you are. I don't have it all together. I actually don't even know that I can change all these things. I'm struggling so bad. Just be honest. Come back to him. A lot of times we try to run and hide. Don't run and hide anymore, because there is no running and hiding from God. I think I have, what do I have? Nothing in all creation is hidden from God's sight. He knows where we are. And then it says right here, humble yourselves before the Lord and he will lift you up. And the fact is that we're not going to get it all back together, and we're not going to get our lives all back together until we humble ourselves before him and say, I'm sorry, I love you, I made a mistake, please help me. I spoke with somebody this past week who had spent a lot of time away from God. They had gotten a divorce and they'd just gone through so much, but then recently they just really started getting back to God and getting in their Bible and listening to sermons and all that kind of stuff, but their life is just kind of in shambles in some ways, and they feel like, they're not even sure. But it was really cool. They said, whenever I came back, all of it started coming back. All the things that I had known about God and all the things that I had felt about God, they all started coming back. She thought she would have lost those things, but she didn't. And I was able to share with her the story of the prodigal son. And later on, she said, you sharing that with me tonight was really a confirmation that I am, where God wants me to be right now. And I want you to be there too. I want you to be where God wants you to be. You're not going to have a perfect life. You're never going to be perfect. You're never going to measure up. But that's okay. Jesus paid the price for you. So just come back to God. Wherever you are, whatever you're struggling with, just come back. Nobody can do it for you. Your life and your relationship with God is only you. It's on you. Now, there's people that can help you and encourage you, but it's just you. So if you're struggling to come back and you don't even know that you fully can, just start to ask him. Say, God, please help me. Please help me. I want to try to come back to you, but I'm struggling so bad with this, or I've messed up so bad, or my life is already this, or whatever. Just come back to him. Don't let another day, another month, another year, another decade of your life go by without coming back to God, because he's always there waiting. He's the creator of the universe. He's all-powerful God. He can do anything, and he loves you and has grace with you. So accept that grace that is far beyond anything that you could accomplish and come back to God. So I didn't have an outline for this, but I just wanted to encourage you. If you know somebody that, at one point, was following God, but they're struggling or they don't feel like they can come back to God, share this video with them. And maybe you'll find it encouraging, or they'll find it encouraging. So I'm glad that you listen. You can always find more from me at epicchristianity.com. And I wish you the best.